All right, so my objective today for the lesson that is called Becoming Financially Free, right, is to help you make more money in an intentional way to become financially free and understand the seasons that you'll go through on the way there. Financial freedom, right, is living life on your terms with freedom of time and choice with no worries of money, right? And why can you do that? It's because you own an asset or assets that is producing you enough money automatically each month and year to cover your expenses and your lifestyle, whether you choose to show up or not, right? An asset is just something that is money, is making you money, or can make you money. Something that is money, right? Is green paper bills in your wallet or the money in your checking or your savings account, right? This is probably the most straightforward one. Number two is something that is making you money, right? This is usually what we'll also call your financial freedom vehicle, right? It could be a business, it could be real estate, it could be stocks and bonds, right? So I'm sitting here right now and the business is making me money, right? I'm sitting here right now and the money that I have invested in the stock market is making me money, right? And then last, something that can make you money. I'll give you an example here, right? If you owned a vehicle outright, let's just say that it was worth $10,000, you didn't owe anything on it, you go to trade that in, that vehicle is gonna turn into green paper bills in your hand, right? Something that can make you money. Or when you sell your house, you make the equity, right? So you sell your house for 400, you only owe 200K on it. The other 200 that's left over, that's money that you just made off the sale of your house. A big objective of this lesson today is to help us get very intentional and descriptive and detailed on our goals, right? Your vagueness around your goals is leading to the vagueness and the limited results around your goals, right? We must be clear on what we want when we put that out into the world, out into the universe, out into our prayers to God, if we want to significantly increase the likelihood of us attracting those desires. They need to be specific, right? You get what you focus on. So if you have vague goals, guess what you're gonna get? Vague results. You have specific goals, guess what you're gonna get? Specific results. And so the idea here, if you wanted to be financially free with your current situation, we got to figure out how your asset, your financial freedom vehicle is going to generate you that amount of money eventually, one day automatically, whether you choose to show up or not. When you're financially free, right, you're probably going to up your lifestyle a little bit, right? There's nothing wrong with that, right? You're probably going to want a new house, a new car, maybe a vacation property. Like I always say, do what you want with your money. Spend your money how you want. Increase your expenses. But like my only advice is just show a tiny bit of humility with it. And so with that, let's do dream income now, right? Dream income. But most times we want more things. Bigger house, different cars, completely fine. Like we always say here, we want you to spend your money. We want you to live your life, right? But in a calculated, controlled, and confident fashion. Ask yourself, if you had your dream house, what would your mortgage be, right? If you had your dream car, what would your payment be? Vehicle options. Right? So to become financially free, you need a financial freedom vehicle, right? And most times it's not your day job or your 401k, right? Because most of you would probably say that your dream life doesn't consist of waiting to 65 to retire and having to go to a day job that you don't love every single day to accomplish that. I'm assuming that most of you would say your dream life would be accomplishing financial freedom in the fastest, most fulfilling way possible, right? So honestly, these are the only options you have, right? So real estate's great, like it can definitely provide you financial freedom. It takes a little bit longer. And so in stocks and bonds, they're usually for the long haul. Unless you want to learn how to day trade, right? And or get very risky in the stock market, which I would not advise. Usually stocks and bonds are for the long haul. Right? So really what that leaves you with is businesses, whether that's yours or someone else's. There's a lot of businesses that, are going to be going out of business and or going to have desperate sellers, right? There's this one website, my buddy was thinking about it. He never ended up actually pulling the trigger, but this woman was selling her salon, right? She had been in business for like 30 years. She had 8 chairs. All 8 of them were rented, right? And she had a book of business, right? Of like thousands of leads and clients. And it came with the building. Guess how much she was selling it for? $70,000. It's a joke. She was desperate, right? And she was trying to get out of it for one reason or another, right? And she had no family to leave it to when she passed away. So she was trying to sell this business where like if he bought it, he'd probably make a 70K back in 2 months. But the biggest thing here though is like what gets people there in the fastest, most fulfilling way possible is a business. There's literally an infinite return on the money that you can make in business. Think about that. There's a capped return you can make on real estate, and there's a capped return that you can make in the market. If the market has like the best year ever, it does 30%. Like if you have a business right now, you have a vehicle right now, great. We just got to figure out how to optimize the thing, right? But if you don't, then, thinking about starting one and or buying one is a real thing. Something that we want to talk about too as well is intermediate vehicles, right? Intermediate vehicles may not be your dream situation or your business, but better than your current or past situation. I'm gonna give you an example here, right? One of our clients, one of my really good buddies, his name is Dave Jacobs, right? He had a very good day job. He was kind of did something very similar to me in the past. He was in healthcare management. And he was like, this just ain't in it for me, dude. I'm not doing this. I'm over the day job thing. And he's like, but I don't like have a dream business quite yet. He's like, but he just moved to Raleigh, North Carolina. And he was like, everybody's decks and fences are an absolute disaster, right? And there was no restoration companies in the local area. So he started a deck and fence restoration company, right? And within 3 months of starting it, left his day job. And now he's been in business for 9 months on his own, has a team of 3, doesn't have to show up to the jobs, and he's making $30,000 a month, right? And he is financially free of his vehicle, and he could possibly sell this if he wanted. Why I say this is intermediate vehicle, because he's pretty straightforward. It's not his dream situation, right? He wants to start a coaching program for men for mental health, right? And so that's going to be his dream vehicle. But for right now, his intermediate vehicle is much better than his past situation. It gives him the freedom of time, choice, and it increased his money a ton. And he's got a newborn, his significant other he gets to spend a ton of time with. And he's also employed 3 guys, right, who have consistent income for their family now. Understanding seasons. And the biggest thing is like, you don't become financially free overnight, right? It takes time. Right? Yes, we want to do it in the fastest way possible, but it takes a lot of time. And a lot of times, the more work you're willing to put in, the faster it will happen. There's a reason why very little people are financially free. And you want to know why? Because it's very hard work, right? And it's the cliche. It's so cliche to say, but it's like, if it was easy, everybody would do it. As we've gotten away from hustle culture, the pendulum has swung too hard and has made all hard work the enemy. You know what I mean? It's like, no, you still got to work hard for results and make sacrifices. The other thing here is you have to be very hands-on early on. A lot of times people delegate and hire way too fast. What happens is, yeah, they get help, but it phases the face of the business out. It phases the number one visionary of the business out. It phases the most powerful asset of the business out too soon, or worst case scenario, or best case scenario, at least dilutes you, right? And not that our team and the mentors aren't great, but like, this is my company, this is my vision, this is my passion, this is my ministry, right? Like, and you know, that's a problem if you get diluted too early on. Right. And so also too, like, you can't hand things off to people in most instances until like you at least master it, let alone worst case scenario, get really good at it. I never mastered my own branding and then I delegated it off to somebody else and expected them to master it. Every business is going to have a face of a company. Like, the founder and the CEO and the leader of the company is going to be the funnel, is going to be the main attraction. Right? And it just so happens that your services come with you. You may have to dive back in if things in your company or industry shift, right? So about 1.5 years or so ago, like, I could literally play golf 7 days a week and not pick up my phone once, and we'd make $150,000 a month. But the industry is just not there anymore, right? That when I first started coaching in 2020, there was 4,500 online coaches, right? There's 8.5 million now, right? And so the shift in the industry, right, because of what has happened with the saturation, right, and all of the noise, I've had to dive back in, right? I'm working way more, right, these days than I was 1 year or so ago, right? And that's okay, right? As a CEO and a founder of a company, you have to be able to swallow your pride from time to time, right? And understand that might be the season that you're in, right? Personal branding, right? I already started to get into this a little bit, but people want to buy from people. People like don't want to buy from just companies with no face of a company anymore, right? We're seeing that, like, even like just deliberately on my Instagram versus the JFF Instagram, right? People answer my DMs way more than they answer the JFF DMs. Like, if you just think about these big companies, like a lot of these wealth advisors, like they're doing like AI now. Like, you don't even get a human being for your financial advisor anymore. You just get an AI bot as your financial advisor. And they're wondering why their clientele and their success is declining. It's because people don't want to work with a boring business. People don't want to work with a AI bot. They want a human being. When you have a strong personal brand, people know, like, and trust you, right? And so that's why we're putting a lot of efforts into growing my personal brand, right? A lot of our resources are going to growing my personal brand, because if my personal brand grows, guess what else grows? JFF, right? Because look right here. What's in my bio? Right? It's right there, right? And so it's like, this is what Justin Buonamo does, and how he packages it is through JFF, right? Like, I'll teach you how to become financially free, and how I package those services is through this company right here. People, 95% of the time people purchase, it's based off of emotions. right? And so how do you move people into emotions? You move people into emotions through storytelling. How do you do quality storytelling? By telling your personal story, right? When you're telling your personal story, guess what you're doing? You're sharing what's important to your personal brand. Last couple of things. I think the last thing here is just marketing. Right? Marketing is, if you want to make money, marketing is so key. After you have a product, after you have a vehicle, after you have an offering, like it's the number one thing you should be focusing on. You can have the cure for cancer, but if no one knows about it, no one's going to buy it, right? There's been so many companies or financial freedom vehicles or assets that have went out of business, right? They've had amazing client experience, amazing products, amazing vehicles. But guess why they went out of business? Because they didn't know how to market. Right? Marketing is just telling people about what you sell. And if nobody knows what you sell, guess what's not going to happen? Sales. For one, you need to understand marketing is just a 9-letter word for test. When it comes to marketing, right, you're going to try 10 marketing things. 6 of them are going to fail. Out of those 6, 3 of them are going to be absolute dumpster fires. The 4 that succeed, only 1 or 2 of them is going to be a massive success, and the other 2 are just going to get a little traction. People are like, oh, I tried this marketing thing and it didn't work. And excuse my language, I'm like, yeah, no shit. It's about testing to figure out what actually works, right? But one thing that I've learned that helps with this, right, is understanding these 2 concepts here, right? When you're thinking through marketing marketing tactics, you have to ask yourself, what is the objective? Is it generating me leads, or is it nurturing and priming, or is it nurturing and converting my leads? A generator, right, is where a lead hears you, sees you, or experiences you for the first time. If you want to get good at marketing, you need to get great at generating leads. One of our main generators is word of mouth. You guys go tell people about us, right? That's the first place they see us, hear us, or experience us. Word of mouth is one of the best generators ever. Leveraging other people's platforms. I'm on probably 2 to 3 podcasts a week. I go onto a podcast, they have 15,000 viewers. Guess what I just did? I just generated 15,000 leads. And then it's one thing to generate leads, it's another thing to actually nurture and convert them. And so that's where priming comes into place. This is the experiences or the opportunities that you have available to nurture and convert these people. So I go on the podcast and my CTA is, hey, if anybody wants to connect with me, follow me on my Instagram, right? My Instagram is a primer, right? And all priming is doing is it's increasing the likelihood of, after you generate them, of them taking the action we want them to take, which is either booking a sales call or making a purchase. It'll lead to you building systems that guarantees each month that you are going to generate the amount of leads that you need and also make the amount of sales and the amount of money that you need each month automatically. Who would want to wake up tomorrow morning and know that you are going to be guaranteed for the foreseeable future to generate the amount of leads that you need and make the amount of sales that you need to make? Guaranteed. When you start to show up like yourself, yes, people are going to unfollow you. Yes, people are going to get, their feathers ruffled a little bit. But the beautiful part of that is like, you must get rid of what's not for you to make room for what is for you. The wealthiest people know that there's value in saving and investing money, but they know that they're going to build true wealth off of solving problems for people and selling those solutions. Look at Amazon Prime, right? There's a big problem in this world where Americans are very lazy and impatient, and they solved that with 2-day delivery, and it's become $1 billion idea, right? And so just think about, there's a major problem out there in whatever industry that you're in. You just got to package, market, and sell the solution. We are paid into direct proportion to the value that we put out into this world, not the value that we withhold inside of us, right? And so when you're a company or a person of value, it means that you offer an incredible solution to a major problem in this world. Yes, budgeting and saving money and investing money and paying off debt and leveraging good debt and buying homes and all those things are very important for your finances. But you want to know what else is very important for your finances? Making more money, right? Especially when it makes sense. And so, I'm very good at saving and investing money, but I think my number one skill set is making more money, right? Money is abundant, right? And once you learn how to generate money through implementing incredible ideas, it becomes so easy. I remember a couple of years ago, we were at a conference with one of our mentors, clients, and community, and we were doing well at the time, but they made this comment where they said, one day you guys are gonna laugh when you realize how easy it is to make $100,000 a month. And I thought they were crazy when they said that. And then once we started doing it, I'm like, I get exactly what they mean, but you have to start somewhere, right? And that's the biggest thing is like, you're not going to come up with that idea immediately. It's most times it's not going to take off immediately, right? You have to be willing to suck at something. You have to be willing to not be great at something. You have to be willing to experience failure to ultimately get to the idea that takes off and have the vehicle that makes you financially free.